All right. Everyone, today I want you guys to be working on this assignment, okay? Section 3, Confucianism and Government. Please try to finish it today. It is very important for you guys to finish today because we are going to be behind overall in our other classwork, okay? So, first and foremost, here's the reading, okay? You start at page 176 or page 17, okay? I'm going to go over some of the reading with you guys. I want you guys to be reading alone. Okay, now you can use Cami and just make sure it reads to you. All right. If you don't know how to do that, I'll try to make another video about that as well. So we're going to page 176 or page 617. You see 176 or page 17. Okay, so you are a student in China in 1184. Night has fallen, but you cannot sleep. Tomorrow you have a test, and it will be the most important test of your entire life. You have studied for it, not for days or weeks or even months, but for years. As you toss and turn, you think about how your entire life will be determined by how well you do on this one test. How could a single test be so important? So, you guys might, when you guys take a test, you guys might be really scared, really anxious to take a test. All right, even with my tests, were they're relatively easy. When it comes to this test, the one to talk about, the civil service exams, because it's not just one test, it's many tests, that will define their life. Okay, that will define the life if they will live in glory, if they will live to be in the top society, like the top class of the society, if they were educated scholars, and if they will work for the government. And you're going to be reading that along the line. We're going to cover it more tomorrow in person, but please read that part as well. The Song dynasty ruled China from 960 to 1279. This was a time of improvements in agriculture, growing cities, extensive trade, and the development of art and inventions. And it was also a time of major changes in Chinese government. Okay. The dominant philosophy in China, Confucianism, is based on the teachings of Confucius. He lived more than 1,500 years before the Song dynasty. His ideas, though, had a dramatic effect on the Song system of government. Confucian ideas. Confucius' teachings focus on ethics or proper behavior for individuals and governments. He said that people should conduct their lives according to two basic principles, that these principles were ren, or concern for others, and li, or appropriate behavior. Confucius argued that society would function best if everyone followed ren and li. There is the answer to number 3. Okay? It starts from here. There are two principles. One was ren, concern for others, and li, appropriate for behavior. That's your answer for number 3 right there. Number 3 is, what are the two different principles that Confucius wants people to know? It's right there. Okay? Confucius thought everyone had a proper role to play in society. Order was maintained when people knew their place and behaved appropriately. For example, Confucius said that young people should obey their elders and subjects should obey the rulers. After his death, Confucius' ideas were spread by his followers, but they were not widely accepted. In fact, the Qin dynasty officially suppressed Confucian ideas and teachings. By the time of the Han Dynasty, Confucianism had again come into favor, and Confucianism became the official state philosophy. During the period of this union, which followed the Han Dynasty, Confucianism was overshadowed by Buddhism. Buddhism is going to be very important when we talk about the next couple of paragraphs, okay? Buddhism as the major tradition in China. As you recall, many Chinese people turned into Buddhism for comfort during these troubled times. In doing so, they largely turned away from Confucian ideas and outlooks. Later, during the Sui dynasty and the early Tang dynasties, Buddhism was very influential. Unlike Confucianism, which stressed ethical behavior, Buddhism stressed a more spiritual outlook that promised escape from suffering. As Buddhism became more popular in China, Confucianism lost some of its influence. Now we're going to go into the questions about Neo Confucianism, okay? Late in the Tang dynasty, many Chinese historians and scholars again became interested in the teachings of Confucius. Their interest was sparked by the desire to improve Chinese government and society. During and after the Song dynasty, a new philosophy called Neo-Confucianism developed based on Confucianism. Neo-Confucianism was developed. Based on Confucianism, Neo-Confucianism was similar to the older philosophy in that it taught proper behavior. For example, Neo-Confucian scholars, and that should be helpful, discuss such issues what made human beings do bad things, even if their basic nature was good. In addition, it also emphasized spiritual matters that incorporated Buddhist and Taoist concepts about the meaning of life. So, Confucianism is to be acting properly, okay? Obeying your elders, obeying your rulers. Neo Confucianism, yes, act is to be proper, to have proper behavior, but to also incorporate some of that Buddhist and Taoist concepts about the meaning of life. So, also adding a little bit of spirituality into it. And that's what Neo Confucianism is. Neo-Confucianism became more appealing and influential under the Song. Later, its influence grew even more, and in fact, the ideas of Confucianism became official government teachings after the Song dynasty. I'm going to stop up to here. After that, I want you guys to read on your own. Okay? The Song dynasty took another major step that affected China for centuries. They improved the system by which people went to work for the government. These workers formed a large bureaucracy or a body of unelected government officials. They joined the bureaucracy by passing civil service examinations. Civil service means civil service as a government official. So I'm going to go over some of the answers, okay? How did Neo-Confucianism differ from Confucianism? Okay, so Neo-Confucianism has ties to spirituality with Buddhism and Taoism philosophies, whereas Confucianism does not. Okay, you saw that it was to act in proper behavior. This one has, so yeah, to act in proper behavior, but don't forget about the spirituality in your life. Okay, how did the Song dynasty change China's government? The Song dynasty changed the government by making Neo-Confucianism the official teachings of the government. If you don't remember where we saw that right here. Let me go back to it. Where are you? That was like 18. Right here. The ideas of Neo-Confucianism became official government teaching after the Song dynasty. We just read about the test as well. Government workers would have to pass the civil service exams that were based on Confucianism. So it's right here. Okay, to become a civil servant, a person had to pass a series of written examinations. The examinations tested students' grasp of Confucianism and related ideas. Okay, so that's how it changed. That's how it changed during the Song dynasty. What two principles did Confucius people believe should follow? You see how I'm that's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to mention earlier. You see how I'm restating the question within my answer. Okay, for each answer, I'm restating the question within my answer. Uh, what two principles did Confucius believe people? What two principles did Confucius believe people should follow? The two principles that Confucius wanted people to follow were Ren, concern for others, and Li, appropriate behavior. What was Neo Confucianism? Neo Confucianism is a philosophy to live in proper behavior. That's part of the Confucianism in there, but emphasizes the spiritual aspect of life as well. Okay? Now, why do you think Neo Confucianism appeals to many people? That's your response. All right? We'll go over the rest tomorrow, but have you should at least, I'm giving you up the code number 4, so you should at least have up to 7. Okay, I'm not really giving you too much time to work on it tomorrow. I'm not giving you any time really. I'm just going to go over it. All right, so read the best by yourself. The rest are basically self-explanatory. All right, one of the questions is basically the definition of a scholar. What is a scholar official? You can literally just copy that down. A scholar official is blank. Okay, it's right there. All right, you guys still got to read this part as well. So please make sure you're reading this and this.